demonstrations, then we know. We see the live show, a show of sacrifice, a show of martyrdom. We see it. People can see it. Baha'i faith, from audio, turns into a video. That's what happens, because the Baha'is in the West are just as powerful. If the trouble comes, they withstand, and my God, they will withstand a lot better than the people in the past even. They do. Here in the West, they're going to. So, what can make these things come? Pressure. Let the people of the world attack us because we're Baha'is. All of them. Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, governments. I welcome them. No fear. Let's show what we are made out of. We are the host of the Lord. We have a power, and it is within us. And under the pressure, we'll be able to demonstrate it. Some other friend of mine's, they were saying it's easy to talk about this order of priority and turning into spiritual values and what Baha'ullah says, but look, we're in the clutches of so many difficulties and so many problems. It seems these things have to be starting from childhood. We had to be ordained and this and that in order to be able to achieve these things. It's very hard to create out of this chaos and order that Baha'u'llah wants. Actually, it's not very difficult. God in creation of man through his nature, the machine, the machinery of God, his factory that makes man, has given him an ability called habit. I mentioned before, the instinctive desire creates mode, mode creates habits. It may be hard in the beginning. If you have to go to teach, if you have to, try to balance yourself out. But if you do it in few times, few days, few months, depending on the individual, the habit, the power of habit kicks in. You start to be able to do it easier and easier, and it becomes your second nature. And you could have not thought of the time that you were not doing these things. Keeping things in order. We have to have that. Also in the Kitab al-Aqdas, Shoghi Effendi says, is his classifications of the subject of Kitab al-Aqdas, he says to be tactful and wise. Wisdom is very, very important. You do not have wisdom, you're trying to make vinegar out of your grapes, it turns into a wine, or your wine turns into grape. Wisdom is like having the recipe, and you have to be a cook. To be a cook in this example is to be wise. You know how to put things together in order to create that recipe, that food. Okay? Or it's like a speaker, or a writer, or a poet. But the words are there on their own, have their own meaning, but he assembles them into sentences, and by the word he makes you to laugh, he makes you to cry. He captures in a spirit into this body of the words. That's wisdom. You see, there is material wisdom, that you know how to assemble matters into these things. We'll call that material philosophy, because you're dealing with matter. But then there is social wisdom, that you see how the people, how to say, what to say to create an order under the people, that they vote for you to become the president. That's very, very hard. Very rare. Bigger than that, though, is their spiritual wisdom. Their spiritual wisdom, which follows the writing of Baha'ullah. If you have a spiritual wisdom, then the social wisdom is like nothing for you. Just like the guy who has social wisdom to make money is nothing for him. He can easily make money. If he could make the people to vote for him, he can easily make money. It's not very difficult. But a spiritual wisdom, if you have, automatically you have the social wisdom. And it's a shortcut too. You don't need to read all of these things. It's who you are, like a magnet, takes people to the way you want. I've seen many times the great politicians, philosophers, scientists, that they're trying to solve a problem. And to the spiritual value of an old lady somewhere in a village in Iran, long time ago. They all lose their wisdom, their politics, everything falters because she's a spiritual. Change things around. What did St. Augustine said to Attila, who came to destroy the Rome? Or Hannibal, I don't know. My memory is not helping me. But the guy left. He went back. So having balance, moderations, order is a part of the Baha'i life. This order of priority, if you understand it and practice it, it becomes a part of us. Then automatically we make right decisions, even at a time when we can't think fast. Instinctively, just like braking a car, we'll do the right things. But we have to know that the assembly of ourselves within us, the chief and the boss is the spiritual self, who takes care of the human selves and human desires. And human is in charge of the animals, and animal is in the charge of the plant, and plant is in charge of the material body. There's a sequence of the selves that goes in. Anytime we don't understand this order of priority, who is the boss in ourself, we create chaos in our life and we lose. So the topic is very big. There's a million things I have to say. And time is of essence. I have been able to free myself for certain hours in the day that I can come and talk to you. You see, I'm absolutely a single-handed individual. 15 years has passed. I know there are many people out there that haven't heard me, but nobody has come to forward the way I want them. Solid, like myself. Stay on the path. I haven't seen anything from the Baha'is or from the non-Baha'is. So the job of God is to send His elders ahead of time. So the people in the future, when I'm dead and join the League of the Heroes, perhaps some opportunists, they bring my name up and my writings and my words and try to solve the problem, and they have no fear of me because I'm dead physically. And since Baha'u'llah knows that, he brought me up right now so the people in the future really can do something about it. I hope there is a future, by the way. this planet is going really haywire. Neanderthals died because they could not think their way out. We have come to a point that we have to think our way out. And if we think all this material, all of the problems that we have in the world can be solved through the economy and social order, and this absolutely oblivious psychologists and sociologists, and they don't see the spirit of man and his spiritual desires, that's the main scheme of this world. If they can't see this, and they like to exclude man from his spiritual part, and they're trying to deal with it socially and economically, the failure is huge. They're worse than Neanderthal. They're doomed. Okay, I hope everyone got a bit of knowledge, got a bit of insight of this topic that I brought up about understanding the order of priority, the spiritual balance. We need it. This is a part of the virtue that has to be a mechanism in the soul, or things will go off balance. Thank you very much. May God bless you. May Baha'ullah be with you.